Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nate and today I'm going to be picking out the books that I'm going to be reading for April. Now I am going to be doing this slightly differently. I am coming up to the last 2 months of my undergraduate degree, so I'm going to be quite busy. And I also really like the idea of making a spring TBR, but I wasn't sure how. So I decided, because I'm coming to the end of my undergraduate degree, and I wanted to do spring TBR, to basically play my game, but with a 6-sided die instead of like a 12-sided die or an 8-sided die or a 10 or whatever I've used in the past, to pick a big selection of books that I will be options to read throughout spring. I think spring ends sometime in June. So that way then I have a big selection of books that I could read for my spring TBR, and then I can just pick and choose what I want to read in April from them. I might end up listening to a lot more audiobooks than I am physically reading throughout the next 2 months, just because I will be having to do a lot of work. That's kind of my idea. The only kind of readathon that I'm doing in April is we are back at Orilium. This is a readathon created by Book Roast, and I will leave the link and all of that to the videos and stuff down below. But I am back. I'm going to be carrying on with my Master of the Elements, and so I have 6 different prompts that I have to try and fulfill in April. So I'm going to try and get those prompts to match up with my prompts to pick for my spring TBR, and those will be the 6 books that I'm going to basically be reading for April. But I will kind of play my game and then go through those and maybe some other things at the end afterwards. Before we get into my game, I do want to say thank you as always for everyone that is here and watches my videos, and yeah, I just thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping to get this video up actually on April 1st because that's actually my birthday. So yeah, I'm hoping this video goes up then. I think I'm going to be getting some books for my birthday, so making this TBR now is kind of like, you know, I'm not 100% sure because I might end up reading some of those. But that's why I kind of like the idea of doing a spring TBR, because then it just gives me a lot of options. Before I start, I do want to do a colour wheel pick. This is for one of the prompts that I have for my Orilium TBR, so I thought if I did it first, know what colour, and then try and make sure I can get a book that fits that colour. But let's actually screen record. Okay, I've got blue, so it is this blue. It's a pretty light blue. It's not like light blue, but it's not a dark blue. So it's a medium blue. That should be pretty easy. So yeah, that was all I needed to really do first. I don't 100% know what books I want to read for my Orilium prompts. I have written down the prompts and written down basically book options that I have, and so I'll be checking to see if any of those options fit with other things. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into my first roll of the month. So first up, I'm going to roll a 4-sided die to pick where the punishment red goes. And it's number 4, so it means it's going to replace this white square. Let me shuffle my cards and place them out. For this month, I'm going to use a little peridot just because she's green, which gives me spring, bright energy. So she'll start here with roll number 1. 1. Which is an own voice book. So also, I just wanted to add in, because it is my birthday on April 1st, I'm going to give myself a birthday present of, I can veto a prompt. Doesn't matter how many prompts, I can veto as many prompts as I want, but I can decide to pick again. However, if I do that, I have to stick to the second choice. I think I'm going to give myself that little kind of reward and just see how it goes. I could do it for every single prompt, or I could do it for none of them if I'm happy with the prompts. Whatever the second one is though, that it has to stick. Yeah. I'm going to try and do that this month as a little birthday present to myself. So I got an own voice, and so for this one, I'm actually going to do something. I'm not going to use a fiction novel for this. I'm actually just going to use an autobiography, which I guess would be a different interpretation of an own voice. It's someone's kind of telling of themselves. And this one, I don't remember the name of it, but it's Viola Davis's autobiography. I have the audiobook for this, which I bought. I don't remember where I bought it, but I definitely own it somewhere on some audiobook app. And yeah, I think I'm just really interested in this. I really like her as an actress. I think she's a really, really good actress. I'm just interested in hearing her story. In like the last year, I've listened to 2 autobiographies or biographies by audiobooks, Jeanette McCurdy's and Elliot Page's, and I've really enjoyed both of them. So yeah, I really want to read Viola Davis's. So this will be the first book for my spring TBR. This will be a really nice, easy one to listen to while I'm doing work as well. So that is my own voice pick. Number 2, 3. So this is a blue and a black. So the blue is a book that has a person on the cover, easy. And the black is to finish it in 2 days for 15 points. For book 2, for person on the cover, I'm going to be reading Done and Dusted. This is by Lila Sage. This is a new purchase for me, one I bought this year, so I kind of need to read it this year as part of one of the challenges I have for myself. I'll get 15 points if I read it in 2 days. Points kind of translate to pounds, which means £15 that I could spend on books, audiobooks, subscription services for books, that kind of thing. So yeah, this is a romance. It's a cowboy small town romance. It's going to be completely a new kind of thing for me. And I'm interested in reading it. I haven't really read much romance this year actually yet so far. So I'm interested. I'm feeling like I want to read more romance. So yeah, this will be the book pick for this. I've heard good things about it. I've heard some people quite enjoy it. And yeah, I'm just quite interested in seeing what it's like and reading it. It also potentially works for an Orilium, but I will talk about that later. That is book 2 on the TBR. On to the next row. This is one of those games, because I'm picking my spring TBR, I don't mind landing on all of the squares. 3, 1, 2, 3. That is a free pick, which I will remember to do at the end. 4. That's a green and a blue. So the prompts are a fantasy that has sprayed edges. Nice. So for my fantasy book with sprayed edges, I'm not actually going to pick one now because at the end of April, the third book in the Skanda series comes out, Skanda and the Chaos Trials. I've been getting the books that have the sprayed edges, so they should have yellow sprayed edges if I get the Waterstones edition. I'm really excited to read about it. It is a fantasy. It is about a young boy who ends up going to a unicorn flying academy. There's magic in there, elemental magic, and it's the third book in the series. I'm very excited about it, and my intention is to go and buy it and read it within the week of buying it. I might do a little vlog about it. I haven't decided yet. So that'll be the book that I picked for these prompts, and yeah, I'm just very, very excited about this series. It is a middle grade. It's just quite a fun, adventurous, magical series. I've recently got my sister to read them, and she's been really enjoying them. So yeah, I'm really, really liking it. Really excited to see where the third one goes. Our characters are growing up now. Each book kind of takes place over like a year at the school, so they are growing up, getting to know their powers more, getting to know their unicorns a bit more, and yeah, I'm very excited about reading this third book, so that will work perfectly for these two prompts. I did also get a 3 pick, which I usually pick at the end, but I'm actually going to put this in now because me and my friends have a book club. We are meeting on the 3rd of April for our next catch up. And I don't know what the book is going to be that they're going to pick because it's not going to be my pick, it's going to be someone else's. So the free pick that I'm going to have for this is going to be whatever book whoever picks for that month. I'll be reading it in April to May, so it will need to be read in April anyway. So yeah, that's going to be the free pick. So I don't actually know what it is yet, but it is a unknown book club pick. But that will be my free pick that I can put in. I was hoping I could get a free pick in so I could put that book in. So yeah, so far I've only have one actual book that I have at the moment that I could read. But that's fine. But yeah, so this one comes at the end of April, and this one I will find out on the 3rd of April. On to the next row. 6. And that's another blue. Which is a book that has less than 250 pages. Watch this game be nicer to me than my normal games when I have 2.5 months to read all these books. There's a dog barking. I think he's gone. Okay, so for this book, for less than 250 pages, I'm going to be reading Convenience Store Woman. This is by Sayaka Murata, and yeah, I found it in a secondhand shop. I picked it up. I've heard other people like it. I don't even know what it's about. Apparently, it's irresistibly quirky and it's hilarious. So yeah, it is exactly 163 books. So this will be a very, very easy read. So nice, short, I'm excited. I'm guessing it's translated fiction from Japanese, but yeah, I don't know much about it. I'm not going to read anything about it because it's such a short book that I think, how much would it give away? So yeah, but this is going to be the book for less than 250 pages. On to the next roll. 4, which is a green, which is an adult fantasy. So for my adult fantasy pick, I want to read Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. This I've had for ages, and I know the second one has just come out, and so I want to try and read this so if I like it, I can buy the second one in the hardcover as well. It's shelved as both adult and young adult on Goodreads, and then I tried to Google it, and apparently it is an adult fantasy book. So I'm not 100% sure, so I'm kind of just going to go on that it does say when you Google it, it is an adult fantasy. So I'm hoping this does count as adult fantasy. If I haven't actually read the book, I can't always tell if it's where it borderlines, but this does say it's adult fantasy, so I'm gonna just go with it. This is a book about a god killer. That's all I pretty much know. It does have actually gorgeous end pages, and I really like the cover of it. I don't like the second cover as much. I find the guy a bit creepy. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. I bought this when it was new, so yeah, I do want to read it. So if I like it, I can go and pick up the second one in a hardcover. And it's not a terribly big fantasy book, and it does potentially work for one of my Orilium prompts as well, which is nice. If you have read it though, let me know if you think this counts as adult fantasy, because yeah, I don't know. But Google says yes, so I'm gonna just say yes. Next row, 2. Oh, which is a spinner. I'm using my iPad today for this, so let's spin. Okay, so I got my manga jar. So this has the title of all the manga series that I own, and I will just pick one. I think I might put 2 volumes on for the spring TBR, since just 1 volume doesn't seem like very many at all. We'll go this one. One Piece. So I picked out One Piece, which is probably the series that I have the most to read in. I have over 100 volumes of it, and I'm on volume 61 and 62. So this is the first volume of Post the Time Skip, so I'm going to be putting both these volumes on there. I think with One Piece, I really enjoy it, but when I get into an arc, I read the arc and I devour it. But then when it kind of is starting up the transition to the next arc, the pacing goes a bit slower. It's kind of setting it up, and I always kind of stop and start between the arcs. So this is obviously the beginning of a new arc. We have post-time skip. I don't know how many years, 3 maybe? And I have read this volume before. It kind of is all the crew coming back together after being apart for a few years. And so yeah, I'm gonna be reading these 2 volumes, and I'm excited to get back into this world and carry on with the series, because yeah, I have over 40 volumes that I need to read of this series, which is ridiculous when I've already read 60 volumes, but that's how long it is. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading these 2 volumes next. I will pop One Piece back in there though, because if it could come out again. 2. Oh, ID. This is an indie published book. When I made this board, I put the indie one there because I had Kindle Unlimited and I'm not using Kindle Unlimited at the moment. And I just didn't know how hard it would be for me to know what books are indie published. So I maybe need to make a good list of stuff that are indie published to go back to in the future. The book that I'm going to pick for this one is Praise. This is by Sarah Kate. And this was one that was given to me by my mum. It is a, I think, smutty BDSM ex-boyfriend's dad, I think. It might not be my thing, but I thought I'd at least give it a go. It's published by Source Books, but it did say it was originally self-published in 2022, and so then this version is from 2023, so technically maybe potentially kind of bending the rules. I don't know what counts as like a self-pub indie book, but I think because this was originally self-pub, even though it has now been like, I guess, traditionally pubbed, maybe, I don't know, I thought I would give it a go and a read. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be my thing. I haven't really read any romances like this, but I'm open to give everything a go. Yeah, it's about like a broken down by her emotional, neglectful ex. All Charlie wants is someone to tell her she's good enough, and then she stumbles into a new job with a boss who brings her to her knees, literally. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna think about it, but I might as well give it a go because I have 3 volumes in this series now, so if I don't like this one, the chances are I'm not gonna like the others. So yeah, and also I did say I liked the idea of having a bit more romance, and I guess this does count as romance, so I'm going to put this one on for my indie published book. On to the next row, a 6, which is this one. We are actually not doing too bad around the board, if I'm honest, guys, for Spring TBR. Green is a North American author, and with 5+ words in the title. So for these 2 prompts, I'm going to be putting on the next book in A Song of Ice and Fire. The version I have is split into parts, so it is A Storm of Swords 2, Blood and Gold. So that makes over 5. This is obviously by George R. R. Martin, who is American, yeah? You know when you're like, I know this, but I'm also now questioning myself. So this is the second part of the 3rd book in the A Song of Ice and Fire series. I don't know if the books were split everywhere it was published, but it was in the UK, so this is the second half of the 3rd book. This is the book that I'm like least looking forward to reading just because of what happens, I'm guessing, towards the end of this book. The end of season 3, devastating stuff. This is the book that I'm least looking forward to reading, but I do want to carry on with the series and I am enjoying reading it. And yeah, it's not terribly long once you take out like the shit ton of appendices at the back with all the houses. It's still going. There we go. So it's 554 pages. So that's not like terribly long because it's split in half. If it was not split in half, it'd be over 1,000 pages. So yeah, this is going to be my next book on for these 2 prompts. We are actually making really good progress, guys. I, of course, say that just before we land on the red, which is a low rating for all future books. I'm going to veto that one because we don't have long to go, and I don't mind getting some more books on here if we have to go back half or future rows. That's fine. So we'll do that then. That will extend this out a little longer for a few more books. So that'll do 1, I guess, because I can't really do 1.5. Yeah, I'll do 1 for that one. For the prompt of ebook, I'm going to be putting on something of a different genre, and I'm going to be putting on The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I have this as an ebook. I've never read any of Riley Sager's books before, so I'm interested in seeing if I like them. I believe this is a thriller. I don't know anything else about it, I'll be honest. I've heard people speak this person's name, so I was like, this book is 99p, I shall buy it. So yeah, I have no idea if this book's any good. By the cover, it's set by a cliff, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, that's the book that's going to be picked for my ebook. So 2, which is a blue, which is a Lolly pick. Okay, that's cool. Lolly is my twin. No, she's not my twin sister. She's my older sister. So I will give her a text in a minute and I will see what she picks for that. 4, so that's 2, which is purple. So I can't go back anymore, guys. Purple is the spinner wheel again. The manga jar again. You know, I feel like this month hasn't been terribly horrible to me when I'm playing with a D6, which seems weird. So my spring TBR so far is looking pretty small. However, I haven't managed to get a lot of stuff for Orilium on there. So my 8, I'll be adding books on at the end. This one, which is, ooh, Bleach. Let me go grab it. So Bleach is interesting because actually I was reading Bleach up to date as it was coming out, and then it got to the point where it also had a time skip at about like volume 49 it was. And the beginning of after the time skip was very boring to read weekly, and so I stopped reading it and then never went back. But I have all the volumes and I have really wanted to do a reread of the whole series and then finish the series off. So I'm going to be putting volumes 1 and 2 on for Bleach. I have read this before and I've watched the anime and I absolutely adore this series. Kubo's art style is actually one of my favourite art styles, and it's one when I started to draw, I really based my art style on his. But yeah, I'm really excited to restart this series and to carry on with it. I remember reading it about 15 years ago now and absolutely falling in love with it. So I'm excited to reread it again and finish it off eventually when I get to like volume 49. And we're on our last roll, so let's just roll it for the sake of it and pick our prompts. I mean, if we got 1, would we have to stay in place? We didn't get 1, that's fine. So we have a blue, which is a book that I've owned for 5+ years. that is also has a historical setting. That'll be interesting to find. And I need to read 50 pages of it outside for 5 points. So for these three, I'm probably just going to put on a classic that I'm hoping is set historically. I'm assuming it's going to be just based on when it was written. And that one is going to be Dracula by Bram Stoker. I have never read it. And so yeah, I'm going to try reading it. This again will be nice because I can read it over a few months. I don't have to just read it in April. Yeah, Bram Stoker was alive in the 1800s. So I'm guessing it's going to be set. For me, historical setting is anywhere really pre like 50s, I guess, would be historical. That's going on 70 years ago. So yeah, we'll go with that. And yeah, I feel like I've had this for over 5 years. I don't remember exactly when I bought it, but it came to where I live now with me, which is like 3.5 years ago. I potentially bought it before the 1.5 years then. So we're going to go that. I basically collected a load of the classics in these Scholastic classic editions where they've got like this kind of like splatter mark. I'll show you one of the other ones. So like here's like The Wind in the Willows that is like in the same kind of editions, and so I just quite like enjoyed those editions. So yeah, I want to read it, see what it's like. I am probably going to get an audiobook for this. I do that with most of my classics because I just find them easier to take in when I'm listening to them as well. So I'm excited to do that, find a good one, shop around, see what I can find. This will be the final book for the TBR for my spring TBR. The only thing I need to figure out is what my sister is going to pick for me. So I'm going to quickly text her now, see if she gets back to me while I'm still filming this video, and then I will go on to talk about what I'll be reading for my Orilium TBR. So I just FaceTimed my sister and she picked Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I kind of thought she would pick this because I got this recently and I know that she has read it. So yeah, she picked this for me to read. Again, like I said, it's not going to be necessarily in April, but it will be over the next 2.5 months. So let's do a quick look at what the game picked for me, and then I will talk about what 6 books I'm actually most likely going to read in April for my Orilium TBR. For the snack that I actually own, for my manga jar, I picked Bleach and One Piece, so I put 2 volumes on of each. I picked Dracula for my historical setting book that I've owned for over 5 years. Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was my lolly pick, my older sister pick. A Storm of Swords Part 2 was for a North American author with a title that has over 5 words in it. Praise is for my indie pick. I'm hoping this counts. God Killer by Hannah Kaner is for my adult fantasy. I have Convenience Store Woman for a book under 250 pages. And then Done and Dusted for a book with a person on the cover. So these are the books that I have physically. I have also got Viola Davis's biography, the ebook, The Only One Left by Riley Sager, Skander and the Chaos Trials, and then the free pick that I got, which is going to be some kind of book club book that I'll have to read. So in total, that is 11 books, which is less than I got last month when I played with a bigger dice. Part of me's like, should I just play it again and just pick an even bigger stack? Because I could potentially read those 11 in 1 month. I'm going to first of all go through and pick my Orilium TBR, and then I might figure out what I'm actually going to do if I want to add more books on for this. That really isn't that bad. Maybe I should just start playing with a 6-sided die in future. I'll think about it. But let me go and sort out my Orilium TBR, and I'll come back and share with you the 6 books that I'm going to be reading in April. I've gone through, I've consulted my list, and I have figured out my TBR for my spring equinox at Orilium. So I'm carrying on with Master of the Elements, and for this I have 6 different tasks: Elemental Studies, Shapeshifting, Animal Studies, Astronomy, Conjuration, and Restoration. For Animal Studies, I have to pick a book that has a yellow title, and for this I'm going to be picking 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This is the book also that I'm going to be reading for my sister's book club pick. Me and my sisters do together. This is actually my pick, so I need to now let them know that they need to read this. But yeah, this is going to be that book. This is a YA, I believe, mystery thriller about a group of friends that go out, 6 of them, but only 5 of them survive because someone is hunting one of them. And I think the whole thing is you having to figure out, or them having to figure out, who is the target. So that's my first Orilium book, and a book that I will definitely be reading in April. Then for astronomy, it was zodiac recommendations. I am an Aries, and I can sort a few different places for this. And in 3 different places, they all recommended this book for Aries. It is one that I owned, and so I thought if 3 people are saying as an Aries I should enjoy this book, I'll give it a go. I do not believe in astronomy in the slightest, so I'm just going to go on these people's recommendations, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is a sci-fi series, I believe. It's people equate it to Hunger Games-esque. It's about a group of people who I think have red blood and are reds and are like overlorded by other people, and I'm guessing someone decides he doesn't want to anymore and is going to break that or something. I know very little about it other than people really like it. So I have the first volume that I found at a charity shop, bought it because people like it, and yeah, I'll actually be reading it now. So that is sci-fi, which I don't read a lot of sci-fi, so interesting. But that's the second book that I'll be reading definitely in April. So for Conjuration, it was my colour wheel pick, which I completely forgot all about after I did it and didn't pay attention to it at all when I was playing the game. But I lucked out in that Done and Dusted has a blue cover. So Done and Dusted will be the book for that pick. So this will be one from my spring TBR that is also definitely will be read in April. For Elemental Studies, it is to have a source of light on the cover, and for that I'm going with God Killer. It has a very big moon in the background. The moon is a source of light. So yeah, I'm happy again to get this one from my Spring TBR on there. Then for Restoration, it is a book that you think could cure a reading slump. For me, this is kind of any kind of really sequel. If I'm invested, if I'm into a series, reading the next one is something that I'm interested and excited to do, so I think it could cure a slump. I could have used my Song of Ice and Fire book on there, but I don't want to just limit that to reading in April, and so instead I'm going to go with City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. This is the 5th book in the Mortal Instrument series, and I'm really excited to carry on with this. I have 2 more books left. I'm excited to it. I have been really enjoying this series. It's just like a good bit of fun, easy fun, and yeah, I'm excited to see how the story ends. I think Jace is going to get annoying in the next 2 books because of something that happened in the last book, which is potentially why I haven't read it as quick, but I am excited to read this book, and I think it definitely is one that I could pick up and just fall easily back into, and it could cure my slump, so to speak. I also picked this because our main character has red hair, and for the Read Your Bookshelf challenge this month is to pick a main character that has red hair. This is also in this challenge where you can like switch lanes that you go, so I am now switching lane. I'm now going on to like the opposite path, so I can go down that route for the next few months. If you're also doing that challenge, you know what I mean. So I needed a character with red hair, so this will be the next book that I'll definitely be reading in April. And the last prompt, I don't actually have the book picked out for, and this is Shapeshifting, and so a author that has blurbed your last 5-star. For me, my last 5-star, which is actually recently, and the only 5-star I've rated, I think, this year, actually, yeah. And that is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. I listened to this audiobook and I absolutely loved it, and I have been thinking about it since, which is why it's one of those books that I know has left a good impression on me, and like I want to buy the actual physical book and reread it myself, not have it read to me. So yeah, this was a 5-star for me. And V.E. Schwab has blurbed this book. They've actually blurbed a few other books of TJ Klune's. I was in the bookshop yesterday looking at some of his other books, and V.E. Schwab had blurbed them as well. So I have never read anything by V.E. Schwab, and I don't own anything by them. However, on Everand, they have a bunch of V.E. Schwab books. So I'm going to be using this as my poll pick opportunity to, whatever V.E. Schwab book you guys, I think out of these 3 is maybe the best, or yeah, whatever ones you enjoyed the most, to yeah, let me know, and I will pick and read that for this prompt. So that is between Gallant, which I believe is the shortest and a standalone, The Invisible Life of Adley LaRue, which is like 17 hours, and which also though is a standalone, and then Vicious, which is the first, I think, in a duology. I'm not 100% sure. These 3 books, they'll be in a poll pick, and I will listen to that one, whatever is the winner of that. I have no idea because I haven't really researched them, and so I don't know what people prefer, so I thought I would just kind of leave it up as a poll pick and then go along with that one. So that'll be the last book that I'll be reading for my Orilium Readathon. So the only other book that I want to add on as a definite book that I will be reading in April is for the buzzword book for the month, and that is to have a book with nature words in the title. And for that, I'm going to be reading Stormbreaker by Anthony Horowitz. Storm is a nature word, and yeah, I bought this recently. It is very, very short. I think it will be so quick to read. It's a middle grade, and I'm just interested about reading it, and then kind of getting into the series as kind of like a fun, casual read between like higher, say, adult fantasies or adult books. I think this would be like a nice book to break it up, so I think that's quite a nice book to add on to the pile. These books are the 6 books that I will be reading, hopefully in April, as well as my V.E. Schwab book, which I'll be listening to, and I do also have my group of friends, like book club book that I'll be picking. So yeah, they are all the books that are addition. Only 2 of those I had gotten on my Spring TBR, but that's fine. That's why I've kind of wanted to do the Spring TBR. I'm not going to play my game again, but I think I am going to, yeah, pick some extra books just to bulk out the Spring TBR. So I'm going to pick another prompt from each of my cards, and then I'm going to do a poll from all of my other jars. So for my blue prompts, let's just pick a random blue prompt. Let's go with this one. So a book that has a primary colour on the spine. And for that, I'm going to read Luckiest Girl Alive. This is by Jessica Knoll, and this is one I bought recently, and I'm just interested to read it. I think it's a mystery, a thriller. I don't know if it counts as both, but it'll be something nice, I think, to break up again other books that I'm reading. And I don't read a ton of thrillers, but when I do, I really enjoy them because they are just like a little less thought has to go into them, and they're just something quite fun. So I'm going to add this book onto the Spring TBR. Then I will pick another green prompt. Let's go for this one. And that's a sci-fi, so I did just say I don't have that much sci-fi on, but now let me think, what is sci-fi? I don't own that many sci-fi, so I have to really think about this one. And for my sci-fi pick, I'm actually going to put on Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I bought this volumes 2 and 3 recently. I hauled those, so I want to get to them this year, so I need to read the first one. I own this as an ebook, so this will be the sci-fi that I'll be putting on. It also gives me the opportunity to like read more ebooks, so again, diversify my reading a bit throughout the months, break it up a bit, which is something that I do like to do. I am going to pick a red. Now this might take me a moment because obviously not all of these are book prompts, but let's hope I get a book prompt first pull. Nope. Let's go again. Oh, okay, this is Second Chance Author. For Second Chance Author, I'm going to go with Alone With You in the Ether. This is by Olivia Blake. I did not like the Atlas Six at all, so I only bought this as an ebook because it was 99p, so I will give this as my second chance. This is, I think, quite different as well from the Atlas 6 from what I've heard. So if I don't like this, I probably just don't like her as an author, which is fine. I've seen mixed things about this. Some people I've seen absolutely love it and think it's like beautifully written, and some people think it's quite pretentious. So we'll see where I fall in that. Look at me though, hitting out my ebook, my TBR, while my physical TBR like stands behind me crying. But that's the book that I'm going to pick for my second chance author. And then I will also pick an ebook from my little jar. So let's hope I don't get one of the ones that I've just picked. So we'll go this one, which is... Oh, this is Anxious People. So this is by Frederick Buckman. I've heard some good things about this. This is, I think, quite a different genre from what I've got. I think this is general fiction, so that'll be interesting as well to throw in there. So yeah, I'm excited about reading that. I've heard some good things about it. I've heard good things about Frederick Buckman in general, so I'm excited to read that. So that'll be another ebook adding on, but I look forward to that. Bulking out my spring TBR a bit, and yeah, adding some different things. I'm looking forward to getting to that one, actually. I'll also add a book from my standalone jar. I won't do my manga one because I do have some manga, so yeah, and I wasn't really planning on filling my spring TBR with manga because that is easy just to read whenever, but I will pick a standalone. And we'll go with this one to add to the spring TBR. Ooh, this is Kafka on the Shore. This is by Haruki Murakami. Let me go grab it. So, Kafka on the Shore. This is by Haruki Murakami, and I'm interested to read about this. I've heard a lot about this author, never read anything from him before. I know some people really like him, but I also know some people really don't like him, so I'm interested to see what I think of this. It's pretty dense, actually. It's like 500 pages. That is my little standalone pick. I think I've got 22 books now on my spring TBR. So I might draw 3 books from my series jar to carry on with. Like I said, this is like a spring speculative TBR, so these potentially aren't all going to be read. They're most likely not all going to be read, but it's to give myself more options. I do want to work on some series. So yeah, I'm going to pick 3, and then we're going to leave that at 25 books for my spring TBR. So the first series I'm going to continue on with is whatever that says. That is Upside Down, and that actually says Diversion, which is a new series from me. I had 4 series that I wanted to start this year, and so I did add them into my TBR jar so that I could have the potential of picking them and actually getting them, and so I don't forget to do that. But that's fine, which is actually quite fine, so I'm happy about that. So let's pick Diversion. So for Diversion, this is book 1 by Veronica Roth. I have never read this. I actually do want to do a kind of spoiler reading vlog for this series. I don't know if I'll read the whole series in that vlog or what. We'll see. So this might end up being left till June, so I might end up reading this in the beginning of June while it's still spring. But I'm looking forward to starting this series and seeing what it's about. I assume I'm going to like it because I'm pretty basic. I like most things. I like most YA things in general, but I'm interested to see what it's about. And then I'll probably watch the movies afterwards because I've never seen the movies either, so that'll be cool. I was very much a Hunger Games person. I won't put that back in just so I can get some diversity in my series. So then let's pick the next series. We will do this one, which is... That's Shatter Me. Okay. The next book I need to read in the Shatter Me series is Unravel Me. I'm kind of like not gagging to read this, I'll be honest. The first one I thought was fine. I didn't love it, but I thought it was fine. I listened to it. And yeah, I don't like Aaron Warner so far though. And I just know that people go on to absolutely adore him. And I don't want to. I don't want to like him. I think he's a dick. So I don't want to be forced to try and like him. I am interested to see what the actual kind of dystopian-ness of this series goes on to be and to where it goes. So I will get to, this will probably be a low priority book, I'll be honest with you, but I will eventually read this book. So yeah, that's the next book on my spring TBR. So I have 22 books and then my manga. So I actually am going to pick 3 more series. I know I'm just adding more books on for no reason. So then I have 25 books and the 2 manga series. That's what I'm going to do. So 3 more series are going to get added on. So ignore my little random math at the beginning. So we have this one, which is Rivers of London. I'm so sorry. My handwriting is appalling. Rivers of London. Okay, so the next book I need to read for Rivers of London is Whispers Underground. This is a kind of urban fantasy about a London copper who ends up learning he is magic and having to deal with like demons and monsters and these river spirits. And yeah, it's an interesting series. I've read the first 2 volumes and I have quite enjoyed them. I do also sometimes get the audiobooks out for this, so I might do that for this one as well. But yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to carrying on with this series and seeing where it goes. Each book kind of so far has kind of been like kind of standalone-ish cases with like an overall background plot running throughout them, and so I find that kind of style of writing quite interesting. So I'm guessing there's going to be like a new monster of the book in this one, while also dealing with like fallout from the last book and such like that. So yeah, that's the next series. Next series, this one. Oh, Keys to the Kingdom. This is another one of those new series. Okay, so the first book in this series is Mr. Monday. This is by Garth Nix. I've owned this series for a ridiculously long time, and so one of my goals was to start actually reading it this year to see if I want to finish it, want to carry on with it, care. I can probably get the audiobooks for this as well to help me out with it. I think it's a middle grade, if not it's a YA. I don't really know what much of the series is about, but I've owned them for probably like 15 years, so I need to read them, at least give it a try. This is a 7-book series, I believe, and I have the first 5, so yeah. It's on the Spring TBR. So what will definitely be the last book, I will not add any more on to make my 25 books for my Spring TBR, is this series. And that is Chaos Walking. The next book I need to read from this series is the second, which is The Ask and the Answer. This is a dystopian, light sci-fi series about a boy who is born into a world where no women exist anymore. He's the last boy that was born there until all of the women like died off. I really enjoyed the first one. It made me sob at a certain part. Like, I cried, and I have not cried like that much at a book in yonks. I don't think I've cried that much at a film in ages. And so yeah, it took me, and that's kind of why I haven't gone for this again. I don't think that's not going to happen again in this book, I don't think, because of what happened in that circumstance. If you've read it, I'm sure you can guess where. But I'm looking forward to reading this. I kind of have like a love-meh relationship with Patrick Ness, not like a love-hate, because some of his books I just am meh about. I read 2 books that I just thought were okay, and then I have quite enjoyed this series, and I did like Monster Calls, so I'm interested to carry on with this and yeah, read more of his writing. Some of his writing hits for me, some of it just doesn't. Not necessarily, sorry, not his writing. Some of his stories hit for me and some of them just don't, but I did really enjoy the first one in this series, and so I'm looking forward to carrying on with it. Okay guys, so that's it. That is my Spring TBR. 25 books. That sounds like a good Spring TBR to me. I don't know when spring ends. Let's find out. When does spring end?
Spring began last Wednesday and ends the 20th of June.
According to Siri, spring ends on the 20th of June. So I have until the 20th of June to read these 25 books. I might not get through them all, and that's absolutely fine. But these 6 books and that one audiobook are going to be my priorities kind of for April. And then, yeah, anything else we shall just see. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going into spring, kind of getting outside a bit more and doing some reading while the weather has lightened up, and it's just nice. So yeah, this was a gigantian TBR, and I think the video is going to be a bitch to edit because it's going to be long, but that's fine. I'm looking forward to it. I love just doing this game and picking a bunch of random video books, and yeah, some of these as well, I'm thinking already of things that I could make them into like different reading vlogs, but some of that stuff's probably not going to happen, or at least if I film them, they won't get edited quickly, because I'm going to be busy over the next 2 months. But that's fine. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have made it to the end of this video, let me know in the comment with a green heart. Because, yeah, I don't know how many people will make it to the end of this video because it's probably going to be long. Let me know if you are doing Orilium this year, what you are studying, any books that you are reading this month that you're looking forward to, any of the books that I showed here that you particularly really enjoyed. Hearing other people's enjoyment of them puts them up a bit in my, like, want to read them. So yeah, I'm interested. I've got a diverse amount of books here, good amount of books, and I'm very excited about my reading coming up for spring. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again hopefully soon. Bye.